March 14, 2012, my son Thomas lost his battle with the disease of addiction. I now belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. Do you know the signs? Do you know the trends that children are doing in today's world? Do you know the signs and symptoms? Do you know the signs and symptoms of drug abuse? I want to empower and educate Long Islanders by bringing a force of professionals and how to prevent the disease of addiction. Long Island in Crisis. Good evening and welcome to Long Island in Crisis. This show is about educating and empowering everyone. Everyone needs to be educated and empowered on substance use disorder, the disease of addiction. We have a pandemic in the United States right now, and it is unacceptable. Status quo is unacceptable. Drinking, drugging for our young people is leading to more deaths than I care to think about. I lost my son 4 years ago, and at the ripe old age of 21. And no other parents should be joining this club in any way, shape, or form. So tonight, we're going to have a really fun show. So I have my dear friend, Terry Kroll, my fellow advocate and strong activist and just fun-loving person. And unfortunately, Terry, also lost a child. And these are the friends that we make along the way due to very unfortunate circumstances. And my other really two great guests tonight are Brittany and Tim, and they are brother and sister, so they're going to behave sitting on the couch. But they're from drug-free Massapequa, and Brittany just graduated college and was a past president, and Tim is a senior right now, and we were having a great discussion before the show even started. So first, let me welcome everyone. Thank you. Before I even forget, the reason why we're really showcasing everybody tonight is there are two events on Saturday, one in Copeg, one in Massapequa. They don't overlap, I don't think.
They do not overlap, and so we're hoping everybody goes to both.
To go to both. And it's a fun family day. It's not about it's just going to be family wellness. So let's keep that first and foremost. Where do you go on a Saturday afternoon where everything is free? So go and get, learn a little something and have a lot of fun with your family. And God knows on Long Island there's nothing for free. So tell us about your event first.
Well, this is our second annual event, and so happy to know that Massapequa is taking us up on every township having this event. Our idea last year was to go to the town of Babylon, invite wellness and awareness vendors from Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, brushing your teeth to drug addiction treatment and prevention, and
holistic.
We have chiropractors. My doctor's office comes and takes blood pressure. Blood pressure's on everybody. Blood testing, anything you can think of. Okay. The day is completely free. It's at the beach. It's in the sun. We have entertainment from the schools in the town of Babylon for the whole day. We have a free raffle. So we wanted to invite the town to come and know what's in your town and what's in your community.
Town.
Exactly.
Anyone can come.
Exactly. So last year we thought we'd do this in the town of Babylon. And my vision was then for every township to do this on the same day every year. So Massapequa is joining us on Saturday. Your event, I believe, in Massapequa is from 11 to?
11 to 4.
11 to 4, and ours is 3 to 6. So start your fantastic day off.
Yes.
And finish your day off at the beach with some music is just, to me, a fabulous way to spend a nice sunny day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And get some great education.
Great information.
And healthy choices.
Bring your children.
Yeah.
Introduce your children from the age of my grandson is 6 years old and asks a lot of questions. He asks, what happened to Uncle Timmy? He asks, why did Uncle Timmy die? Why is that person not feeling well? Why does my stomach not feel well? Well, why not introduce them to
Absolutely.
families knowing about wellness and awareness together rather than questioning things in your head?
And to give, especially children, I believe it should start in kindergarten, coping skills, life skills, the ability to communicate when little kids get those butterflies, and you can remember it too, that anxiety in their belly, to have the ability to be able to verbalize what's going on instead of crying, to empower them to be able to communicate.
Right, and that's the age when they start developing those kinds of skills. So
and relaxation techniques.
Right.
To know, I'm okay. I'm in school and maybe something's going on that I don't like, but I can calm myself without having a meltdown.
Yeah, and to be able to recognize those kinds of feelings at such a young age will definitely help later on in life.
Oh, absolutely, because, you know, our friend Kim Laube always says, you can ask, she's asked 100 eighth graders, do you have great self-esteem? And they'll all answer yes, and self-confidence and everything else. But they know what that means. But do they feel good about themselves?
Right.
They don't.
Right.
Because no one's taught them to. So their parents will say, or teachers, or any well-meaning adult, and we're not criticizing in any way, but you know, and I'm sure your mom said it to you, oh, don't let that bother you. You know, you got to let things roll off your back. It doesn't matter what other people say about you, but it does.
Right.
It does to a developing child, teenager, it does. So how do you create self-confidence and self-esteem and self-awareness within kids so that you're a senior? We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
You've chosen to be drug and alcohol free. Brittany, you chose to do that. Well, you're very confident young adults. I will tell you that. You can see it in you. So you have the ability to say to your friends, no, I'm not going to do that. No matter what you do or say, you like me for who I am, or you don't.
Right.
I think it was a lot of it was the way we were raised. Like our parents from a very young age were always anti-drug, anti-alcohol, and they weren't afraid to sit us down at any age and talk to us about, listen, like this is like drugs. Kind of show us like the sides of drugs and explain to us. Like they never thought we were too young to learn about it.
Right.
They kind of always thought that we should know the facts, we should know what it does, we should know why we should stay away from it. And that support definitely helped.
And instead of just saying, just say no.
Yeah,
Right.
I told you I'll kill you if you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seems like a lot of parents say, like, just like that, just say no. Like, they don't really back it up with anything, so it's kind of not as embedded. I mean, I know definitely for me, it's drilled into me all the time.
Well, do you think other parents, maybe not your own parents, but other parents are not backing it up because they're not aware? That's a big thing for me, is that I feel like parents avoid or don't know how to talk about drugs with their children.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's one of the uncomfortable subjects.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, they learn about that in school. I don't need to discuss that. I'll just tell them not to
Exactly.
do that.
Especially, that's another big thing we talk about at Drug Free Long Island is how parents don't know how to like portray that how bad it actually is, and they assume that they're getting like the knowledge they need, and they assume that they're hearing it from other places. So they'll give them the basics of don't do this because it's bad, and assume that they're hearing it from other places that why it's bad, or
Right.
assume not Massapequa or not any
Right.
other town.
And when it comes to education in schools, like you were saying, parents just assume that they get the education and that, you know, they learn from their health classes that drugs and alcohol are bad, you should never do it. But they keep their education almost PG, and they don't show you realistically what could actually happen. And
On a continual basis, though.
Exactly.
It
And
can't
one
be a
of-
one-shot deal.
Right.
Exactly.
And one of the biggest influence, I should say, through Drug Free Long Island is that they don't hold back when it comes to information. They will tell you all of the statistics, they'll show you videos. I remember there was one video that we had watched about drunk driving, and they showed all of the details. They didn't hold back any pictures. They had live footage and things like that. When you watch it, you get very, you know,
Affected.
it really hits you, and you think like this could happen to anyone. And personally, I knew a few people. So I had just graduated college, and before I had gotten there, there was someone who was very close to a friend of mine who had passed away from being hit by a drunk driver. She herself was sober, and she was hit by another person, and she was killed on impact. Even as far as when it comes to drugs, we are very close family friends with someone who lost a son from a drug overdose. So all of these things are very real to us, and fortunately, not many people have those kinds of hard, experiences. But in a way, they almost need that shock to understand the severity of it and to get into their head how serious it is and how beneficial it would be to stay drug and alcohol free.
What do you think is the best way to attract parents to come to a forum like that and see that reality? With or without their children.
Right, of course. I think, again, the biggest thing is to show them how real it could be. And I don't know.
How do you get them to that, though?
Yeah,
because Terry and I have been involved in a lot of presentations, and unfortunately, you could have 1,500 kids in a school, and 100 people will show up.
Right.
We've been to a couple of those, and the
it's sad.
Yeah.
It is heartbreaking because you do want to get this message across, and you try your hardest to give that information and to
We've
try to
spoken
teach
to
others.
Students at forums where they have to be there because it's during their school day,
Right.
and it's an assembly,
Yeah.
and there have been 600-700 students in a room who hear us and hear what our real life stories are, but their parents don't hear that,
Right.
and that's where I know those students can go home and say, these two moms were in school today and they talked about the loss of their sons.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, then you ask yourself, is it necessary to make a mandatory meeting for parents?
Right.
Like if it were to come down to, even a school of 600 kids, you can get 600 plus parents to come to those kinds of meetings. But the logistics of,
Having
being
that
able
meeting,
to mandate something
right,
like
exactly.
that.
Well, they mandate the prom, and I've spoken at plenty of prom. I've been plenty of prom date.
Yeah.
But we're talking about seniors in May and June. We've missed 12 years
Right.
of empowering the parents to raise children that have coping skills, life skills. With coping skills and life skills comes great decision making. So why, we can't be the parent that fixes everything
Right.
for our kids. With choices come consequences. So once they start to learn that, little people, little consequences.
Right.
Not,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, you do ask yourself the question, how early is too early? I know some parents are not as willing to teach their younger children because they feel maybe it's too soon to have that conversation. But I agree with what you're saying where, I mean, if you could educate as early as you can.
I think at 5 years old to teach them those kind of skills. But also if you have substance use disorder in your family, I've always said, if you can't go see Grandpa or, Aunt Mary or something along those lines, we can't go visit Grandpa today because he didn't make a healthy choice today.
Right.
So we can't, and as that child gets older and that's repeated to them, at some point in time, at the age 8, 9, 10, whenever that parent feels, Grandpa has a problem when he drinks too much.
And I believe that, just as you said, he didn't make a healthy choice today.
Yes.
By instilling that in a child's head, not even just saying he has a problem or he's drinking. If you use cautionary words like that, like a healthy decision, then they recognize as they get older that this healthy decision relates to drinking, and then now they're relating drinking to an unhealthy decision.
Correct.
So, subconsciously you're teaching that child without having to use harsh words.
Right.
And I think that would be very effective.
My son Timothy died from a prescription drug addiction. And he died before my grandchildren were born. We keep my son alive in memory with them, of course. So now my oldest grandson is 6 years old. And he asked a couple of weeks ago, how did Uncle Timmy die? And he has gone through kindergarten with the teachings of his teacher, make healthy decisions. These are healthy eating decisions. Oh, he'll tell me, I can't eat that because it's not on the healthy list, that kind of thing. So my daughter was in a very difficult position. What do I say to him? How do I tell him?
Right.
So we've decided we would always be honest, but age appropriate. So she decided to say, Uncle Timmy, you know how when mommy gives you medicine if you're not feeling well? Yes. Well, Uncle Timmy did not follow the directions of mommy and the doctor. And that's enough to get him through this stage.
Exactly right.
And that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Exactly. The teaching them in kindergarten and throughout, it's not that you're showing them, like teaching them the same information that you teach a 10th grader.
Right.
You just kind of ease into it slowly and usually, and then they, like you said, they make the connections. And then as they grow older, you'll show that, maybe say you start expanding and getting more into detail, and then they could understand, oh, that's what they mean.
You're
and
building
that's how
on fundamentals.
Exactly.
Right.
You've got to build the base before you can go
You
any
have to
further
learn the
with it.
alphabet before you can learn to read. So it's just keeping that, consistency.
Right.
Not bad. People that drink and do drugs are not bad people. They're
Right, of
sick
course.
people.
Of
Exactly.
course.
So teaching them a very fine, there's a distinction between that. Healthy choices, unhealthy choices. And families need to be involved in this because kids at a certain, that happened to Timmy and Tom, but it's never going to happen to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
And that's what the problem is when you try to, start these teachings at a much older age, because children, they'll hear it everywhere else, and they're like, oh, I've heard of that before, but like, I'm fine, that'll never happen to
Well,
me.
I'm not going to do it, and I've spoken to enough students now that have seen the one-shot deals. So they will come back and say, well, I wouldn't make those mistakes. That's not what you were supposed to take away from this presentation.
Right.
I'll be smarter than that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wrong messaging.
I'll make
Right.
healthy choices.
No, they'll just do drugs differently so that they don't,
Well, and a slightly different topic, but the same. When, no, this is all the same topic. When we found out Timothy was in trouble, and he wasn't telling us, someone else came to us and told us. And when I approached him and they told us, he's afraid to tell you because he's afraid it's going to kill you. So when I approached him and said, you can tell me anything, nothing's going to kill me, I'm your mother. I saw relief in his face. And so I often think about what is the relationship between a young person using and with the disease of substance disorder and their relationship with their guardian or their parent or their family. Are they afraid of disappointment or not getting support? And that to me is a big thing. Like
I think that
parents need to let their children know.
They need to let them know, and I think also inherently children never want to disappoint their
Of
parents.
course.
So in of that, they already know. I used to tell my kids too, if you can't tell me something, you shouldn't be doing it.
That is very true.
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty simple. If you can't tell me what you're going to do, you should probably be thinking twice about
Right.
doing that.
Which is a
So-
fair statement.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
a very fair statement.
Yeah.
So let your conscience be your guide. So I think inherently in all of us is that disappointment. You never want
Right.
to disappoint your parents.
Right.
And when you and I grew up, there was also fear involved with our parents.
Right.
Not,
There may have
and
been a
I-
little fear with Timmy, but I don't know.
but it was a healthy respect, I
Yeah.
think. So my decisions were often, well, if I do this, I'm dead. But I'll go with plan B because 2 weeks I could do if I get caught. So, but you never wanted
Right.
to disappoint your parents
Right.
because that was worse than anything.
As
and-
far as your relationship with your parents, it definitely goes back to never wanting to disappoint. I mean, personally, I would never do anything intentionally that I know would upset my parents or, again, if it was something that I knew my mom wouldn't approve of, I would never do it. When it comes to having to confront her with information that I know wouldn't be in my best interest or that she wouldn't be very happy with, I know that my relationship with my mom is very close and that I do feel open with her, that I can tell her almost anything. And we have developed that kind of relationship over time. Obviously, when I was younger, it was always, I
little
never
more
want to talk to
combative.
mom. Yep.
Right? And that's part of being an adolescent.
Of course. And, as I got older, I realized that relationship, that even in those times that I felt like she was being too harsh or too strict, I know that it was just what she had to do as a mother, and it was things that I know she did for my sake and that she did them because she loved me. And so to be able to come up to her, and if I did have a problem, I know that I would be able to confront her, and it would hurt me. I know that, but I do know that I could tell her anything, and she would not love me any less.
But you know that.
Yes.
See, that's what I'm thinking
Yeah.
about. Like, we had a very open relationship in our family, just the four of us.
Right.
Friday night movies, all that kind of stuff. But it was still the idea of disappointing me that
Yes.
upset
Right.
Timothy.
Right.
So I think about how do I let other parents know? Please let your children know that no matter what they do, you always love them, and you're there to support. So it could be the worst of the worst, and come to me. I'm not going to change my love for you.
Of course.
I'm going to try and support you. And I worry about the students and children that don't have that relationship.
Well, so
Have that
fear.
yes. So, you know, I also think talking about a go-to person. Every kid needs a go-to person.
Right.
And within a school, sometimes, unfortunately, there are kids that don't have that at home, or
Right.
the substance use disorder is at home.
Right.
So when that child walks through the door of their school, that may be the first person that says, "Hey, hi, how are you?" So we're gonna go to a commercial, but there's something that I think we need to build on right
Yes.
there.
Of course.
We'll be right back after this message.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hogshair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
You smell so good, I won't have to bathe the next 2 weeks. Anything. So, here, laugh a little harder. All right?
I will take him. I would be proud to show you off, you little old weirdo man.
Get a new sweater. The worst dressed man here tonight. Right? Look, get that laugh, and get it in there tonight because nobody else is going to laugh like her. She's under drugs, all right?
know you already want a Toyota, but when you want more from your Toyota store, you want Smithtown Toyota, where every Toyota comes with Smithtown Toyota's Toyota for Life program, giving you lifetime New York State inspections, lifetime 10% discounts on all parts and service, 2 years of complimentary oil changes, 2 years of scheduled maintenance, and more, all at no cost to you, plus low clear-out deals on every Toyota in stock. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to Smithtown Toyota.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. So where did we left off? Because now we were talking off camera.
So we were talking about having an influence in school if the problem is at home.
So
And I was going to say, before you had even mentioned having somebody else as
a
an
go-to.
outlet,
Yeah.
I was going to say, you know, even someone at school, whether it be a counselor, a teacher, a passerby, a friend, something like that. I feel like
you
there's
know,
always
even a
someone.
lunch lady. You know,
Yeah.
let's you know,
really be anyone.
realistically, and I've spoken to a few, especially middle school principals. Everybody knows the really smart kids. Everybody knows the athletic kids, and everybody knows the kids that cause the problem.
Right.
It's those kids that fly real quietly under the radar
Yeah.
that need to be, you know, just connected with.
Definitely.
Always. Not by your group of teachers maybe, but, you know, I encourage them. You know who those students
Yeah.
are. And that your school's not that big. You should be trying to shouldn't say touch them, talk to them or
Yeah.
make contact with them on some level
Right.
all the time.
And I do know, I mean, in my school, there are quite a few teachers who will, like, if they notice a student's like grades are slipping, they'll pull them aside. Instead of saying something in front of the class, they'll pull them aside and they'll like have a private talk with them.
Hey,
Try not to
okay,
embarrass-
everything all
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. And if not, they'll even if like they don't want to go down to say like the social worker, they'll try to help them out any way they can, and
Yeah.
they'll let like the social worker know, or they'll let someone know, just to be like maybe like keep an eye on him, like make sure he's okay, and I mean even for who I can, I try to be like that person to go to, because since I'm part of the program and since I try to be able to help any way I can, any of my friends, I always tell them if like you ever need anything to call me. A couple weeks ago, one of my friends, I don't really know her that well, but I know her through this school program, and she went home and her dad had been drinking, and she didn't get a lot of sleep that last night, and she got home from school and he was still drinking. So me and a couple of my friends went out, picked her up, and we got ice cream with her, and like
Give her a respite.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah,
give
just
her a
kinda
little
get her out of the
rest
house.
and,
Get her out of the
just-
house
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
that situation.
by the time like we got home, he was asleep, and like she couldn't thank it. Like she kept sending thank yous and everything, and
Yeah.
like just like little stuff like that, just to get out of the house and just kind of have
Yeah, no
an
questions
escape.
asked.
Exactly.
Just, you know, come on, let's just.
And you don't
Yeah.
even have to talk about it, you know,
No.
even
Right.
just to completely distract you from the situation, get you out of it, and, you know, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and
You know, because we often focus on the kids. And in my school district, a junior and a freshman found their parents overdosed. The dad was dead, and I
Wow.
don't think that the mom is going to make a full recovery.
Right.
We don't, you know, what were they
Yeah.
living
Yeah.
through?
Yeah.
What were they living through?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody comes to school and everybody puts on that face
Yeah.
because of the shame and stigma that goes along with the disease, and that needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably our biggest. That
Mhm.
needs
Yeah.
to stop.
Right.
It's okay. It's a disease,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and how can we help you make your life better?
And I think that one of the other problems for a child who has that issue at home and they come to school and they remain quiet about it is the fact that they feel very alone.
Yes.
Because they go home and they're not in a happy environment. They come to school and it's a school environment and it's not something, you know, to talk about personal issues like that. So,
Well, they don't know how to talk about personal issues.
Right.
Exactly.
They can't have play dates come back to their house.
right.
Which
But you
all
open the door a
leads-
little bit by saying, you know, come on out for an ice cream. Don't
Right.
have to talk about it at that
Oh, yeah.
particular time.
Mhm.
But now you've opened the door to maybe a
outlet.
person calling
Exactly.
you and saying, you know, do you think you and I could just sit by the
Mhm.
beach and have
And
a
I
conversation?
always, like, if I ever
Can you
find
find me
out
help?
that like a friend is going through something or like something at home that maybe is like kind of hard, I'll let them know. Like I won't kind of like go around. I'll tell them straight. Just if you ever need to talk, I'm here. I'm always like just around. I'll always have my phone on me. If you ever need to go somewhere or if you ever need something, just call me or text me. chances are I'll see you within the next few minutes, and I'll answer. I'll do my best to get there, and if I can't, I have plenty of friends and people I could call that could get there. So I do my best to try to help out.
Linda and I have a group of moms that there are many people in the treatment field, and they know that there's moms struggling, and our cell phone number is out to anybody. They can call me 24/7 because there's those moms that just don't have someone to talk to.
Right.
And so it's the same thing here. It's somebody your age. It's peer to peer. You know, we're peer to peer with these moms.
Peer to peer. It's having experienced or just being willing to listen. There's not enough people that are just willing to listen to.
Right. And that's one of the things, I mean, personally, within our family, we, at a very young age, we lost our dad to 9/11. And when we were much younger, obviously growing up in that kind of situation, we were very confused and didn't know how to cope with something like that. And for me personally, going back to having someone to talk to, obviously I always had my mom to talk to, but it was different because, you know, she was
also
within that
grieving.
situation. Exactly.
Too.
So I actually connected with my 3rd grade teacher and also with the school counselor of my elementary school. And they were the people that I felt the most comfortable with. And again, I could tell my mom anything, but I felt comfortable speaking with them, and I listened to their advice. And it was one of those things where I learned then that sometimes all you need is someone to listen and just be the person to have someone, like if they needed to talk about their problems, just open your ears and hear what they have to say. So going through that and knowing people as I was going through middle school, high school, and even college, people who were having big problems and they didn't know what to do. Sometimes they just needed to hear themselves saying things, or they needed to say what was on their mind for them to feel a little bit better. And so recognizing that and just letting someone know that you're always there to listen is sometimes the biggest support that they can have. And I know I said that to many friends when I was growing up, when I was going through very hard times, or I was in situations, or obviously every year around September when I would be getting, you know, very emotional, very upset. I'm not one of those people who looks for constant attention when I'm upset. I like to be by myself. But I also knew that my closest friends were there if I needed them. And that was the biggest thing for me. So I feel like for a child that's having that kind of problem, whether it's a friend, a teacher, a staff, anything like that, to know that someone would listen to them if they needed to talk is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I always tell my grandchildren, there's no crying at my house. You know, of course they're going to cry. They're going to get hurt. They're going to cry.
Right.
But my grandchildren will repeat that now. And I always tell them, if you need a hug, you can always come to my house. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, my grandson brought a picture of him in a frame, and he put it on my nightstand and said, I just want to let you know, if you wake up and you need a hug, just look at my picture. So it just makes me think that, okay, I'm putting across the right message to my grandchildren, that I'm a place to come. I'm a respite. I'm a safe place.
And now he's also recognizing that he can be a safe place.
Exactly.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And
Yay, me.
that's exactly. But that's the point of the Wellness Day on Saturday, just to bring families. Long Island, the world moves at warp speed.
Yes.
We move at warp plus speed.
Of course.
Here. So, you know, families just need to take a step back and what really is important.
Yeah.
You know, I just encourage people, no judgment, no criticism,
Of
but
course.
you don't have to have your kid enrolled in everything. It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's okay to give them downtime. It's nice to be a kid and just, you know, sit on the couch and or go out and ride your bike and not have anything to do.
Yeah.
So we have a little too much structure sometimes
Right.
and not enough breathing space.
Yeah. And sometimes parents think that by pushing their children to do all of these activities and sports and everything, that it'll keep them out of trouble and things like that.
Not
But then
necessarily.
you're almost stressing your child out, and it leads them to do things that they just want to relax and unwind, and then it leads to
And parents
bigger
need
problems.
to understand that the first person that's going to offer their children a drink or a drug is not some guy in a hoodie hiding behind the school.
Right.
It's going to be their friends on the football team and the football parties and the casual nature of allowing, you know, parents need to understand that drinking is not a rite of passage.
right.
And the only two companies that know that are insurance companies and car rental companies that know that 25 is the age.
Yes.
So we, you know, it's not okay to do that.
Right.
What did being in drug-free Massapequa or drug-free Long Island do for you? How did you make an impact directly on you, and in turn make an impact on the community?
Well, personally, like I had said before, knowing the situations that you can be put in if you are influenced by drugs or alcohol or anything like that, knowing the severity of the situation and the impact that it has on the others around you was definitely a big wake-up call for me, because I didn't want to be responsible for not only my own life, but somebody else's. And that was a big shock to me, is that my decisions don't just impact myself. And seeing, especially, like I had said, someone that I had known in college was killed from another drunk driver. She was making the right decisions that night, and somebody else wasn't, and she took the fall on it. So through Drug-Free Long Island, Drug-Free Massapequa, everything that they had taught, everything that we teach, you realize that your actions aren't your own in these situations, and you have as much influence on others as you do yourself. And that was something that helped me, especially through high school and college, to recognize that if I'm not making the right decisions, I could be putting others in harm's way. And that definitely helped me, keep out of those things.
Excellent. Do kids see you in high school and come to you and want to hang out? Like, here's, and I said this, did I say this to you today? I think that if it was known that we recognize kids that choose to be drug and alcohol free at every assembly, that there's going to be 30% of the audience certainly saying, you mean not everybody drinks and drugs? You mean I could hang out with them? Right?
Yeah. Now, I'm going to answer for him because I know he doesn't want to be modest, but people do look up to him within his school. And I've heard, all of his friends that come around, everything, he carries himself with such confidence that he doesn't need any kind of extra add-on like drugs or alcohol for kids to recognize that he is such a fun, outgoing person. And I've heard that from many people. His friends, my friends even, they recognize that, because he has this high confidence and he just has fun in everything that he does. People, even times that I'll visit him at school, we'll be walking down the hallway and everybody's saying, hey Tim, what's up? Or how's it going? And everybody just kind of knows him. And it's just the way that he carries himself. And so it goes back to having that confidence.
Yeah.
And if you see someone that lacks that confidence, you're less likely to not recognize somebody, but do you know what I'm trying to say? Where like someone who carries themselves well is more recognized.
Absolutely.
And they don't need that extra add-on. So
yeah.
Did you pay her to say that?
I know. Wow.
And she's your sister.
I know.
I'm as shocked as you guys
are. That's great.
No,
that was beautiful.
Thank you. And even I, feel like my influence on him has been very strong. Obviously, being the older sibling, I have a lot of weight to carry myself.
And being much more awesome than your brother.
Obviously. Well, where do you think he gets it from? But yeah, all of my actions have, repercussions. If I make a bad decision, I know that he's maybe going to follow up on that. So as much as I have to take care of myself, taking care of myself is taking care of him.
Yes.
So, that's something that for someone who has older or younger siblings, that is something to keep in mind, that it's not necessarily your parents that if they tell you, don't do this, don't do that. If you have a sibling that says, listen, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, they'll take that into consideration because you've more recently been in those positions. And I also know that if he is in a hard position or if he has a question about something, he does come to me about it. Or my other older sister, she's 24 years old. So she's been through all of it as well. So we are so close within our family. We're very fortunate to have such a close family that we come to one another with all of these questions and situations, and we give the best answers to one another. So, and even I'll ask him questions. So it's a two-way street.
There are going to be kids in your school that envy that self-confidence that you have. They envy it. They do. So we need to recreate how to get that self-confidence. How do you feel good about yourself? Not everybody is going to be outgoing. Everybody has a different personality.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't, negate them from having
Of course.
self-confidence
Right.
and being okay in their skin.
I don't know. It's just kind of the way I always grew up. I think it was a lot of, because me and my sisters are kind of all like that. I think it is just the way we were raised. Our parents kind of always boosting us up, but in like a modest way. Like not saying like we're the greatest ever, but like
You're
always,
okay.
Yeah, they
They're always giving you
Right.
confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely boost our confidence without putting us on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important because I know a lot of people who like think they're the greatest, but they actually think they are the greatest.
Yes.
And like that, I mean, I know
When it
I
gets to their heads and
I
then-
like stay away from people like that because I don't know, like I
No
know
one's
I'm not-
perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
No,
Like,
one's
I know I'm not great, but like I'm not afraid to like do whatever. I am comfortable enough that I don't know. I'm comfortable with speaking in front of large groups of people. I don't really doesn't.
And it's
bother
okay
me
to
how
make,
much-
I look at, I can make a complete ass out of myself, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
As long as
absolutely.
I'm
Everybody
having
does it.
fun.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
I've done
And
it.
the
He's done
ability
it.
to be able to laugh at yourself
Exactly.
and enjoy the moment in time,
Right.
Exactly.
Or learn from it.
and learn from
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
I also think when he was going back to talking about how our parents always gave us that confidence, for parents to say to their children, even if they do mess up or they have those faults, just to tell them it's okay, you've learned from it, you're still great, I still love you, things like that. Just
Right.
even in times of
You don't learn by never making a mistake.
Exactly.
It's in your mistakes.
Yep.
It's how you get back up
Yep.
when you get knocked down.
yeah,
Right?
And that's what I was talking about before, that you have to have that confidence that your parents are okay with the
Yes.
mistakes.
Right.
yes,
And to be able to go to them and realize the love's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of course.
And they're there to help
Yeah,
you.
like she was saying before, like I know that no matter what I do, I mean, it might be hard and I might have to really gather myself before I do it, but I can always go to my mom and whatever it is, I know we'll work it out. She might be really mad. She might, I don't know, I might get punished, but in the end, it's not really going to change her view on me. It's not going to make her love me any less.
Punished
It's-
deservedly so.
Exactly. Yeah.
but-
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right.
And I know she's gonna, like, I earned it. It's not like she's doing it for no reason.
It's
not
your
like I just felt
consequence from your
it's-
behavior.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I did it. I
It's
deserve
not
the
her
consequences.
And that's
abusing
something
you.
that you learn from that,
Right.
And
Absolutely.
you know your consequences. So.
Absolutely. And we'll be right back after this message.
Welcome to the Rehab Center located at 2025 Brentwood Road in Brentwood, New York. At the center, we offer chiropractic services, acupuncture, and physical therapy. We take most major medical, no-fault, and workers' comp insurance. If you need these types of services, contact the offices at 631-234-4949. That's 631-234-4949.
Hello, I'm Dr. G. I've established an organization called Voices for Veterans. We use music to honor veterans and to help the public understand what veterans have gone through when they come home from war. On October 22nd of this year, we're going to have an incredible show, a 3.5-hour concert at Malloy College, one of the greatest 500-seat theaters on Long Island. We're going to honor 25 veterans. We've taken an incredible band, 15 people from Long Island, some of the best musicians we could find, and we merged it with a 30-person choir, merging gospel with rock and roll. This incredible 3.5-hour show is like none other that you've ever seen. This is Grammy quality. October 22nd, you can buy a ticket, you can make a donation, you can get involved, you can help us with the committee. You can look us up at veterans.org and go on our website and get all the information about the show. Please make a difference to these veterans by coming aboard with us with Voices for Veterans. Thank you so much.
I didn't see it coming, but it came in a can. Now my sweet son's sprayed into a man.
Mine too, and hey, we know just who to blame.
When our sons have fun with women and misbehave.
Old Spice sprayed a man on my son.
Now he's kissing all the women and his chores aren't done.
He was just my little sweetie, tiny fingers, hands and feeties. Now he's touching, kissing, feeling all the women because Old Spice
sprayed a man on my son. Now he smells like a man, and they treat him like one.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. This is what we just try to do. So encourage kids, encourage parents, just to open your heart and open your mind as to the goal of being a parent, I do believe, is to end up with a well-adjusted young adult at the end. Not someone that necessarily has to excel in academics or sports or anything else because you feel that that's what they should do. I think let them lead the way. You know, cut them a little slack and really just empower them to be okay in their own skin.
Right.
Growing up in today's world is not certainly different.
Very different.
Very different.
Oh, yes.
You know, with your smartphones and everything else at your fingertips, bullying, so many things that go on, and just the
just
craziness.
the craziness of life.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in her 30s, and her friends all have children, and I very often will say to them, "Okay, everybody, let's just go to a Ducks game, and everybody come and take the day off of work and stop everything."
Yeah.
Because nobody gets, not nobody, but most people do not get to do that anymore.
Right.
They're working 2 and 3 jobs. They're
Yes.
working different
Right.
shifts. They're taking kids to one sport, to another sport, to dance.
They work
to
different shifts because
karate. They have to.
They have to. They're working 2 jobs,
Yeah.
maybe 3 jobs. So,
Yeah.
But even if it's just stopping
for 4
once
hours.
in a while, like Saturday, our events.
Yes.
Our events are about learning a lot of stuff, but they're also about taking your children by the hand and enjoying the day. No outside extracurricular activities.
Right.
And see what your communities have to offer in the way of so many things. Really,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
health services. So tell us about who's going to be at your event?
Yeah, so our event, we're actually expecting over 40 different vendors. It's going to be a very large event. It's happening rain or shine.
Okay.
It's not going to rain.
Yeah,
It's not gonna rain.
Yeah,
we
we
did
were
see.
watching the
Beautiful
update.
weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've
No
been keeping
rain.
track of it every single
Right,
day.
right.
But rain or shine, it's going to be at Marjorie Post Park. And throughout the day, we actually have 3 different scheduled events that are
What
happening.
road is that off of again?
Right off of Merrick Road. The
Montauk
crossroad is
Highway,
Merrick
Merrick Road.
Road and
Carmen.
Umpqua.
Oh,
At Umpqua.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's
I was going to say Carmen's. And I was wrong.
yeah, not quite that far. So we do have 3 different events. Our first one is 6 Ways to Balance Your Life.
Okay.
Yeah, which is with Steve
Jasmine?
Judge.
Oh.
Judge.
Judge, yes. Jadde. That's hard to spell quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the second event is actually with our mom. Stacy Roy is going to be doing a lot of energy work. And so she's...
Reiki?
Yes.
She,
I love Reiki.
Reiki and IET. She's certified in the 2 of them. She's very
Yep.
big.
She's been doing it for a couple of years. She actually hit a very hard point in her life. She had a very bad accident, and she had a post-concussion syndrome. She lost control of her eyes and basically her brain. And through all kinds of testing, she went to doctors, specialists. Everyone told her, this is how you're going to be. And she wouldn't accept that, and so she ended up running into something within, Reiki, IET, and it actually helped her get better.
It was, well, she was like that for a year, and then it was spinal cranial.
Spinal cranial.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was that really introduced her into the holistic like world, and then she kind of started looking into it. And you know, Reiki, IET is integrated energy therapy.
Okay.
And it's, I
So,
could be wrong, I
I was-
think Reiki is more of an emotional, if you
Yeah,
like, it's
so-
like an emotional blockages, where IET, I believe, is a little more of a physical. Like I know
Yeah.
I pulled out my back twice a couple years ago wrestling, and she's done it a few times. So I mean, every time I could a noticeable difference, and it's just
It's a different feeling, and even
Yeah.
our stepdad was never a believer in that kind of thing. You know, like he had shoulder and knee problems, and she was like, "Let me try doing Reiki or IET on you," and he's like, "That'll never work. I'm not doing that." And he finally gave in one day when it was really bad, and he walked away from that, and he was like, "I already feel better." And he, and since then he was.
Well, the
big
COPEC event is from
fan.
3 to 6. So, what's your mom doing at 6:30? Just wondering.
Yeah.
I might be a little
I
tired.
mean, she might be willing to stop by. She loves talking about this stuff,
Right.
so
Oh,
I'm
she can
sure
talk
she would
all
have no
day.
problem.
No, I want her to actually
She
help
wants-
me.
she
Oh,
wants
yeah,
treatment.
she has her own office within. So we sectioned off a part of our house so that she can have her own
That's
personal
awesome.
space.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anytime.
yeah.
I'm a
I'm there.
big, I practice yoga. I
Yeah.
have friends, I've had Reiki done, acupuncture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer in holistic.
Yeah. So I mean,
Because-
and that's something that not many people are even aware of. Like
Yeah.
she
Right.
even had no idea that this was a thing before she got into it, and so definitely having this at
And
the
is she
event.
healed?
And
Yes,
she is.
She is
She has
healed.
every couple months she'll have a headache, but it'll go away within a day, and it's amazing what she came
Yeah.
from. It
Yeah.
came from she wasn't able to get out of bed for almost a year
She
because
wasn't
if
able to sit up from bed without getting nauseous.
the room would start spinning
Oh,
and she would get
vertigo?
nauseous.
Yes, very
and
bad
it was-
vertigo.
Yeah.
So yeah, she went to hell and back with this accident, and for her to be able to recognize that she has gotten to a point where she is okay now, and to remember what she was like, and the
Yeah.
fact that doctors were telling her, this is how you're going to be, you just have to wait it out, it might get better. And our mom is very strong-minded. She was like, that's not right. She's like, I will not accept that. I cannot live like this.
One doctor told her that we can't find anything, so you may just have to accept it. And she pretty much
And
just
she
said
did
no
not.
and walked out.
Yeah.
Good
And
for
that
her.
was
And
that's
also,
her.
Yeah.
they tried to give her
Yeah.
medication for it, and she's like,
She
I
refused to
won't
take
take
it.
medication. So we have our mom doing, an energy work.
Oh, we have to go right to commercial.
Oh, yep.
So we'll be right back.
I actually love your mom.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis. So that's awesome. I love holistic things.
Yes.
And I think that more people that would go that route, no
People would be
drugs,
amazed. Yeah.
people would be amazed at how well they can feel
Yeah.
by allowing your body to heal itself.
So
a
yeah,
lot of
I'm actually very excited to see what she has to say. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever seen her speak in a public setting like that.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm
she's-
looking forward to
She's
it.
told us about different places she's gone and spoken, but we've never seen her in action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And,
don't make her nervous.
Yeah, I don't think she knows how to be nervous.
Yeah.
And then our last event that we have scheduled is a healthy weight loss seminar with Dr. Michael Berlin.
Okay.
And it's just talking about different ways to help you, lose fat cells and keep them off. And so again, that goes back to the health and wellness aspect for people who are looking for a healthier
Healthy
lifestyle.
choices.
Yeah.
Healthy choices.
And it all goes back to the healthy choices.
Yeah, it all goes back to the healthy choices.
And in addition to these events, other things that Drug Free Long Island will be doing is we'll be awarding our winners of our poster contests.
Oh my gosh, I was one of the judges.
Really?
Yes, it was brutal.
Really?
I have to tell you.
Really?
Such great stuff came through.
Yeah. Oh,
Very
I can only
difficult to
imagine.
narrow it down.
Yeah.
Is,
Yeah.
Very
to be able to
difficult
pick one
winners.
Yeah.
poster
Yeah,
out
out
of
of
all
so
of them.
Very difficult.
Yeah. And then also we're handing out our scholarships for our outgoing seniors within Drug Free Long Island and our community events. So that'll be very exciting. And
So it's a great way to showcase your community.
yes.
What is right in their own town.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That
And the fact that
kids-
we have these opportunities
Yes.
to give to people that are willing to become a part of what we do and help
Absolutely.
spread the word. And hopefully it entices people to not only look for a better future within these scholarships, but to
Yes.
help pass on that good word.
Yes.
And then we also have government officials that will be showing up, such as Assemblyman Joe Saladino and Senator Michael Venditto. And we're always welcoming them to our events. They're very, very good.
They're very active in
Yes,
your community.
yes. They come to almost everything that we do, and we're very grateful for that.
And Terry?
Well, they appreciate the support from
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
from the community as well.
They
Right.
do.
Right.
Linda and I have close relationships with a lot of our elected officials on Long Island, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what? They're hearing what we're saying.
You
They're
know,
hearing it.
but
Absolutely.
beyond anything else, they're parents.
Yeah.
You know, they're
They are.
They're husbands, wives, son. You know, they're connected
They fit all
on
of
a
the
personal
criteria.
level.
Yeah.
So they,
Right.
you have to draw that line.
Mhm.
But the personal stories, this
Yeah.
is not a Republican Democrat
Right.
issue.
No.
This is a health and wellness. This is life and death.
Yeah.
And we're losing way too many kids.
Right.
Way too many people.
We had an event on June 3rd at Tanner Park also. We invited all of the middle schools in the town of Babylon to have talent shows in their own schools and then culminate for a finale at Tanner Park, which was great. And we had the schools involved. We have the politicians and the government officials, not politicians, government officials involved. And it just makes everybody able to just realize that we're all in this together.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all in this community together. And a child who can sing their heart out at Saturday's events and sing the anthem will be recognized by
Yes.
government officials and the community. And again, it's all full circle. Full
It's all
circle.
full
Right.
circle and enveloping. and
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
wrapping everybody
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So we have the winners from last Friday night actually entertaining on Saturday.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so they get
you
to come
will
up on the
have-
stage again.
I know, and you have a great raffle. So if you go to all
We have
the
a
tables,
right. We have a free raffle that if you visit every table and get your passport stamped, you can come up and get a free raffle tickets. So
nice.
yeah, so it kind of makes it easy for people to go to tables that they might not have gone to, or might have felt
Embarrassed.
conscious about.
or shame and
Right.
stigma. There it
There's
is
a
again.
reason to.
And last year at our first event,
Because everybody has to go.
one of the
Exactly.
treatment tables told me that a family came up, and it was a mom, dad, their son, and their other son's wife. And she said to them, do you have somebody in your family that needs help? And they had a dialogue going on for a couple of minutes. And they said, it's my son, and the girl said, it's my husband, and the boy said, it's my brother.
Right.
And 45 minutes later, they came back with that son.
Oh, awesome.
So did that make our day worthwhile?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Were their children leaving smiling because they won a bike? Yes. So to me, was
Yes.
that good? Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Win-win.
so there's health and wellness. Go home, ride your
And
bike, and be
guess
healthy.
what? You're going to be at Tanner Park, which is in Copaig.
Right. Yes.
And what's the address?
It's Baylon Avenue in Copaig, and it's right on the beach. You can't miss
Can't
it.
miss it.
Right. Right.
And you're at Marjorie Post Park.
Yep.
So 2 great events this weekend. Beautiful weekend. The week before Father's Day. So you may be able to figure out where to
Visit
buy a
both.
gift.
Yeah.
Visit both.
They're
you
not
know,
far from
and
one another.
Exactly. What better gift to give a father than time with his family. So let's keep that in mind.
And next year we get another town to do this on
Yes.
the same day.
Yes.
We'll make it a weekend event.
Well, we have Kings Park Day, but it's not necessarily just health and wellness. But
Right.
the town shuts down.
But
for
I
the
want it to
day.
be townships.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing Oyster Bay, we're doing Town of Babylon, Town of Smithtown.
We're
Town
going to
of
wrap
Hamilton.
up tonight. I want to thank Terry and Tim and Brittany for coming tonight. You know, reach out, go to these local events, and if you're having a problem, LICAT has a number, 631, do you know it offhand? We'll put it up on the website. No worries. And health and wellness, let's do this together, Long Island. Take care and have a great week.
Another dark hotel room, musty